one day as I was running, it was a semester when I was actually taking a class called Confession and Forgiveness. I realized that I had been carrying anger and resentment towards another individual for over a year. I had been betrayed, I had been lied to, and I had been lied about. And I still harbored all of those feelings. And as I ran that day, I finally said, enough is enough. I forgive you. And just as those words literally came out of my mouth, 4 deer bounded gracefully through the woods. And I use those words intentionally because that's what forgiveness feels like. It feels like bounding gracefully. Those 4 deer bounded gracefully through the woods, and my spirit became free along with their actions. Finally, Jesus is also telling us that forgiveness leads to completeness. We remember that 70 times 7 means totality, and God's forgiveness is complete. In the Old Testament, we read often that God is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. It's unlimited. And in Paul's letter to the Corinthians, he writes this: "All this comes from the God who settled the relationship between us and him, and then called us to settle our relationships with each other. God put the world square with himself through Jesus, giving the world a fresh start by offering forgiveness." You see, God initiates the reconciliation with us. And when we initiate the repair of a relationship with someone else, we imitate God. Often, as Christians, we focus on what Jesus saved us from. But what I want to talk about today and have us think about today is what Jesus saves us for. And that is a life of joy and peace. You see, we see Jesus' redemptive act on the cross as the path to forgiveness, and that's exactly what it is. It's a path. But my big aha this past week has been that forgiveness is not the end game. The end game is having reconciled and healthy relationships between us and God and us with others. That is the end game. And what does this feel like? When what has come between us has been cast into the depths of the sea, or swept away like a cloud, or washed away, or put away as far as the east is from the west. All of those things that the psalmist says, that's the joy and peace that comes from forgiveness. Now, I want to end today with a contemporary example. Sometimes it actually helps to talk about your sermon topic with family around the dinner table, as I was doing last week. My older daughter, who's a musical theater major, started singing a song, and it's a song from Hamilton. It occurs after Alexander Hamilton has had an affair, and he makes the affair public, hopefully in order to redeem or resolve his own guilt. But it devastates his wife, Eliza. And their son, Philip, in an attempt to redeem his father's name, is killed in a duel. So Alexander and Eliza move uptown to process their loss and to deal with what has become unimaginable. And I'd like to close with reading some of the lyrics from It's Quiet Uptown. This is Alexander. I spend hours in the garden. I walk alone to the store, and it's quiet uptown, like I've never experienced the quiet before. I take the children to church on Sunday, a sign of cross at the door, and I pray. That never used to happen before. Look at where we are. Look at where we started. I know I don't deserve you, Elijah, but hear me out. That would be enough if I could spare his life. If I could trade his life for mine, he'd be standing right here now. And you would smile, and that would be enough. I don't pretend to know the challenges we're facing. I know there's no replacing what we've lost, and you need time. But I'm not afraid. I know who I married. Just let me stay here by your side. That would be enough. And the chorus comes in and sings, "They are standing in the garden, Alexander by Eliza's side. She takes his hand. It's quiet uptown." Forgiveness. Can you imagine? Forgiveness. Can you imagine? So my question to you today is forgiveness. Can you imagine 70 times 7?